Hey everyone, thanks for tuning in. Today's video is going to be on the Custom Knife Factory Morrf knife, and that's spelled M-O-R-R-F. And the designer, although I will butcher his name, is Evgeny Muan, and I'll put the correct spelling and so forth down below as well. But anyways, so this is a newer release from Custom Knife Factory with what I assume is another Russian designer. And let's get into the specs, overall impressions, and then I will get into the specifics of the knife. So quickly, this is how it comes. It comes with the Custom Knife Factory Knives from Best Russian Designers pouch. This particular one is number 13 of 120 of the initial run. And just a little pouch, certificate of authenticity, a little gold terry cloth, and that is the way that it ships. So anyways, here's the knife in question. As you can see, it is a flipper model, G10, titanium, carved, and then you have this awesome Persian upswept blade here, so with a stonewash finish. I did put some frog lube on it, so that's why you're getting the seeing that almost oily look to it. But anyways, let's talk about the specs. So the blade length on this is about 3.625 as reported by the manufacturer. That's relatively close to my measurements, so I'll just go with that. Blade steel is S35VN, right there as the designation. The overall blade thickness here, it's relatively thin, but it's about 0.157 or 4 millimeters thick of S35VN. The overall length is about 8.25 inches there, and then it is on a single row bearing system, and it is made in Russia. But essentially what happens is the parts are CNC'd or produced in China, and then it goes to Russia for finishing, assembly, and whatever parts they produce in Russia. So part Chinese made, part Russian made, but just as with my other knives, I don't really care where it's made. I'm only interested in the final product and the quality. So the thickness of the knife is 0.45 inches thick, thereabout. So it's a relatively thin knife, carries very well. The width in this direction at the widest portion is about 1.5 inches, and then this weighs in at 3.95 ounces, so just below that 4-ounce mark. But overall impressions, again, they're really good. I don't buy things that I don't think that I will like. And just as with my last Custom Knife Factory, quality is excellent. The knife is very well put together. Ergonomics are just outstanding. Good blade steel. I mean, this is a great EDC knife, and it has a unique look to it, which is what first attracted me to the knife. And then the price point, it's at $280. The first run is completely sold out, but I believe there will be some subsequent runs coming. So if you're interested, just keep your eyes peeled and you will be able to get one. But yeah, overall, I really like the knife. It's really well made. It flips wonderfully. The bearing system, once you get past the detent, is very smooth. And it's just, yeah, it's a great EDC knife. So anyways, let's get into the specifics. So let's start out with the blade, of course. So again, it's this kind of Persian style upswept blade. Offers a tremendous amount of belly, a really nice cutting surface. You do have a full flat ground knife here. And you know, a relatively thin tip, but not delicate. So again, I think it'll work well kind of in an EDC roll. And I mean, this can work in a lot of different occasions or environments. So you could use this in the kitchen for cutting down cardboard, you know, slicing rope. I mean, it's a very versatile blade and blade shape. So it is stonewashed, and the only markings are Custom Knife Factory S35VN, and then the serial number, which is 13 out of 120 on this particular one. Now, when I first saw the knife, I had assumed that these really cool lines right here would work to deploy the knife. But the detent strength and then the location and the depth of these, they don't function in that regard. With this particular knife, maybe there are others with the lighter detents where that would work, but if you grab it from both sides, obviously that'll work. Or if you want to open the knife two-handed, it's a good spot to grab onto, I suppose. But just using your one thumb, this doesn't really work. So anyways, so it's primarily a flipper. So aesthetic for the most part, I suppose. And then that matches the pivot on the show side here. It also has similar markings, so that's cool. I like the tie-in between the two. The other side of the pivot is just the Torx head, so it's not decorative on this side. But anyhow, there is a thumb ramp. So you have this concave thumb ramp, which has some jimping. And the jimping, it actually works really well, especially when you are holding it as intended. Your thumb rests in there and it locks in really, really well. So works beautifully. The ergonomics are outstanding for the thumb position as well as the rest of the handle. And then the flipper tab acts as a forward guard of sorts. So I would not hesitate to do thrust cuts with this, although I wouldn't really want to do thrust cuts into anything like a tree or anything super hard, just because the tip isn't really designed for that type of abuse. So anyways, again, stonewash finish on the blade, which is a great working finish. So the handle shape, very ergonomic, as you can see it. It fits the shape of the hand with that curve up and under like this. Then you have these kind of, I don't know, I guess slightly concaved areas as well as here and here. And so the hand just fits in it wonderfully, at least my hand. But the ergonomics are really good. Extra large hands, but I'm able to get a full grip and have just a tiny bit extra here at the back end. So obviously this is a carved G10 on this side. While the G10 itself doesn't really have much traction, the carvings do give it quite a bit of traction and make it comfortable regardless of hand size. The titanium on the other side is also carved in a similar fashion. Looks really cool. Again, it adds texture to the knife, it adds visual interest, and it makes it very comfortable as well. So you do have a titanium pocket clip, which is 3D machined. And it functions very well going in and out of the pocket. There's enough of a gap there to where you can overcome your jeans and so forth, and enough of a space here to allow for thicker pants and other things. So this pocket clip is an improvement over the Elf, which was not as well designed. I'll show that to you guys later as a comparison. But anyways, there is a lanyard hole at the back here, so you can tie a lanyard on. Yeah, it's just a really neat knife. You do have a stainless steel lock insert, and it does have an over travel stop here on the back, so you cannot hyperextend the knife or overextend it. So it's as far over as it goes. Detent strength is excellent, and flipping action is tremendous. It works very well in both the light switch and the press down method because of the forward cant on this flipping tab. So the function's great. But anyhow, I did take this to a USN knife meet yesterday. There was about 10 guys there, and I was actually surprised at how receptive everyone was to this design. I thought that the knife would be a bit more polarizing due to the Persian blade shape and kind of the very ergonomic yet kind of outside of the mold handle here. But everyone liked it. Everyone liked the ergonomics. They liked the way it looked and felt. Flipping action is tremendous. So anyways, I was just a little surprised that it was universally liked amongst the different knife enthusiasts, whether it be folders or fixed blades or the different interests that everyone had there. So anyhow, really interesting knife. As far as the value goes, so they're about $280. For me, value's getting a bit convoluted at this point. Obviously I liked it, and obviously the entire first run sold out at all of the vendors, be it Knife Center or From Russia with Knives. So it seems that everyone felt it was a good value, and I liked it enough to buy it at this price point. So I think it, as thin as it is, as light as it is, as ergonomic as it is, with the full flat grind blade and the tremendous amount of belly, it really is a really good EDC knife, and I think it'll surprise a lot of people when they actually have one in hand. So So I guess that's pretty much it. We do have standoffs here on the back, so you have the flow-through construction, easy to clean. Again, that also adds to the lightness factor as well. So as a size comparison, I do have an 801 here. Although this is limited and very few people have this particular one, all the 801s are the same dimensions for the most part. So they're just about the same exact size here. And I know the camera won't convey that terribly well, but yeah, they're essentially the same length. Obviously the weight and the thickness are quite different between the two. But this is about the same size as an 801, although the designs are very different, as this one is, you know, more rectangular and this one has more curvature and flow to it. Now the other custom knife, factory knife that I own is the Elf, which is this big 4.6 behemoth here. As you can see, there's quite a bit of difference between the two. Let's flip there we go. But as I was mentioning I forgot to mention this on my review of the Elf, but the pocket clip here, you don't have a very large gap here at the front, so it's a little bit harder to overcome the seam of jeans or reinforced pockets, and then the spacing here is rather small. Whereas we take a look at the Morrf, and as you can see, it's just a better designed pocket clip, more space, a greater area to overcome the seam and so forth. But I thought that I would mention that on this video, as I failed to do so on the Elf. But again, overall, really nice knife. A lot of people liked it, and as I mentioned, all the good points are about it. Custom Knife Factory has not disappointed thus far. And they do have some other really cool designs, but priced a little bit more than I want, such as the Decepticon 1, Decepticon 2. They do have another large one coming out that uses a sculpted titanium handles, kind of like a Shirogorov 95T type of designs, which is unique, but anyhow. So that's pretty much my review of the Custom Knife Factory Morrf. If you have any questions or comments, be sure to let me know in the comments section below. And thanks so much for watching, guys. Take care.